Hi, my name's Will and welcome to the Distorted Transmission for today. I'm talking to Nelson Sawnoff. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Pretty good. First is introductions. If you guys can introduce yourself and the other members of the band, please.
Sweet. So I'm Josh. I do vocals in the band, write lyrics and all that fun stuff.
And I am Shay. I do all the main writing, producing, mixing, etc.
We have
Guitarist.
bass player JP or Josh as well, um, and a drummer Aaron, and they are good blokes.
Yeah, good blokes.
You guys haven't been around for a very long time, but you've been very productive. So just for the sake of everyone watching, if you could just give me a brief history of the band, just an overview of like when you started, that kind of stuff, that'd be good.
Me and Shay have actually been writing music since like the early 2010s together. Been in a couple bands doing, so I would say, just random.
Just random everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So we sort of had a bit of a head start on writing together. What year was it when you first came up with the Sawnoff idea?
I think so. I moved back from Wellington because I moved up to Wellington to be more involved with the music scene. At the time, I was producing music for hip hop, rap artists, etc., and wanted to delve in and just be involved with the scene up there. And then not long after I moved back, we got stuck into COVID, and I didn't actually get to see many live shows or anything like that. So I ended up moving back, and because Nelson's not usually much of a hub for music, I just decided I needed to make some music and create a scene back here to bring some life back into what was missing from here. And I say we probably started this. It was only probably just over a year and a half ago now.
Yeah, he just initially hit me up and was like, "Hey, I've got some demos written. Do you want to do some vocals?" And I had some stuff written as well because I was wanting to make a sort of beatdowny hardcore band. And I also wanted to make just a classic death metal band. So I had heaps of stuff just written, ready to throw onto something, and it all just kind of fell into place with the earlier tracks that we did. Just super angry, dumb music. It was, but it just went really well. Like we actually had Liam Ginty, a friend of ours, playing guitar for us at the start, and our friend Luke, he was playing bass. He had never played bass in a metal band before. Um, he actually plays ukulele a lot and just like busks and stuff. So it was a hilarious combo. But we had Aaron in mind off the bat. I've known Aaron for a really long time because I grew up with Levi. Well, we grew up with Levi, his older brother, who's an organ and stuff. And he
Okay.
was always jamming on the drums and stuff when I was around there when we were like 15, 16. And I sort of kept my eye on him because I was like, he's gonna fucking rip when he's older. And yeah, he does. He's great.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably the best musician in the band
Yeah, man.
because true to Sheehan style, he is a crazy talented multi instrumentalist, does everything like that. So it's a privilege to have him and the rest of the boys. It kind of just worked out. It's just like my mentality was starting a band was trying to find a group of people that would end up being friends and just growing into something that would be fun and continues to be fun to this day. And that's all it is now.
Yeah, I saw his surname. I didn't even make the connection.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The Sheehan lore is deep, man.
Cool. All right. Well, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I was going to ask you how was Nelson for a home base, being sort of metal musicians.
When we were younger, there was a lot of metal stuff going on around the scenes and going into like when we just started going towards our 20s and stuff, there was metal bands around, but nothing, since we've been back, nothing was really kicking off. A lot of venues around here are not very accepting of metal music, which is a shame, unfortunately. We've been privileged enough to have East Street, where we've held most of our gigs in Nelson, be quite accepting of us and let us have our music there, and that's helped nurture the scene to what it is these days, which is great. And it's continuing to grow, which is exactly what we wanted. So yeah.
I suppose it's just like Christchurch. I mean, it only takes one or two sort of bands to sort of make a scene. I don't like to use the word scene, but
Yeah.
for lack of another word, sort of like, like get something started, and then other people from other areas around the country are sort of attracted to it, and then it becomes a place to do a show, which is kind of what I felt about your recent show, which is where I mean, I'd heard about the band before, but you sort of landed on my radar hard because you had that show on May the 25th. You had an all ages show, which is always an excellent decision. You had Utilize the Remains, Parasitic Infestation. You had Plague of the Fallen, Distance with Mr. Shen, Shove It, Earth and Ruins, Crying Club, and A Comfortable Way to Rot. So it was a big show, and there were some heavy hitters in that lineup. So it must have been a pretty good show. I was going to ask you, how did that show go?
Honestly, it was even better than what we expected. Like, we knew it was going to be a killer show, but honestly, it just immaculate vibes the whole day. Everybody was having a good time.
It was ridiculous. It was so crazy just having such, like, we're at the boathouse, there's like ocean views, and you've got someone like Utilize the Remains just like shaking the rafters of the place. And we're literally over the ocean. Like, it felt like we were going to fall into the water, but it was sweet. No one fell.
No one fell. No one went swimming this time. Let's hope it stays that way for future dates.
But yeah, just absolutely absurd. But then also Distance with the sunset set at that show particularly was crazy as well. But we're super keen to do more shows like that around the area. That was our sort of attempt at throwing Nelson on the map quite hard for like even a pass-through place to play a show, because we hear things like it used to be really before people were flying. Apparently, like hardcore punk and metal scene was more of a stop-off. There was more bands that would sort of drive from like Dunedin to Christchurch to Nelson, then fly, go on the ferry rather than fly to Welly. So they'd work their way through. Whereas when you sort of start flying, then there's just get skipped over because it's small.
I did driving for a couple of shows back in the day. It was a psychroptic tour. There was a suffocation tour that went from Auckland all the way down to, I think it was Christchurch. Yeah. Possibly even Dunedin. I can't remember. It was like 10 years ago. But the point is that when I took the sort of the truck with all the gear, went over on the ferry, and then there's like a massive drive from there to Christchurch. So it would be good to have a place to do a show there, because the boats stop at certain times. So you could travel north to south, set up camp, do another show, and then next morning drive down to Christchurch.
People end up sort of staying in Picton or something, or because there's no point driving to Nelson and then staying in Nelson if there's nothing going. But yeah, if we can get something going in Nelson, then it's more of a known spot that has good sort of community pulling up. That'd be great.
Well, what is the drive time from Picton to Nelson? It's about an hour?
About an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah.
Doable. All right, cool. Next question. This is about your releases. It's not really a question, more of a proclamation, really. You've been quite busy. As you said, you've only been around for about a year and a half. And when I went to your Bandcamp, because I'd seen one of your like two track releases, and I thought, oh yeah, well that makes sense. They've been around for about a year. They've released a 2-track to sort of put their name out there. And then I went a little bit deeper, and I was like, holy shit, they've fucking released heaps of stuff. And it was like first thing was a 2-track self-titled in February 2023, then a 5-track EP, Conflicted Fighting Violent Impulses, in April 23. Then there was a single entitled Violent Frenzy. Violent Frenzy Meat Removal, or VFMR for short. That's a crazy name. In October last year. And then it was a 6-track EP, and I say EP even though it was 6 tracks, because I think in total it came to about 16 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was called Sentenced by the Goat. So you've managed to release all that stuff in what? Just over a year. So that is an insane amount of releases. Yeah, so I feel almost foolish when I ask whether or not there's more stuff to come. It feels like there shouldn't be because you've released it all already, but maybe there is.
I have this one thing I like, and it's each their own, but if I go see a band, I really love to be able to go back home and listen to their music and kind of get familiar with it that way. So I made sure as soon as we started playing shows that we had music out, and that was the biggest thing for me. But right now we're in the process of, for the 1 year anniversary, re-releasing the first 2-track EP and then Conflicted Fighting Violent Impulse together, re-recorded, remastered to sound even better. And from there on, we've been playing a lot of shows, so we haven't had much time to actually get together and try to work on new music, but it's always in the back of our mind. I think we'll take some time to actually sit down together and properly write some music, get a full length album out maybe, or just continue to punish the people with EPs. We'll see what happens.
I think EPs are good. I think, like, honestly, like, single releases just piss me off because, like, there's all this fanfare about it, and it's like a 3-minute song. It's like so much publicity and promotion into 3 minutes of music. Whereas if it's an EP, maybe it's 15 minutes of music. It's like 3 songs, maybe 4 songs, and that gives you an opportunity to at least get a decent taste of something. So it's more worthwhile.
For sure.
I think especially the way you got to push them these days, like promoting things to try get it out there. If it's just for one track, like usually end up not even liking the track as much once it's out as well. But that might just be me.
Well, you can always release all the tracks, independently on Spotify and do all that bullshit. But to actually have like one solid little block of work that somebody can enjoy all at once is good.
And that's kind of what happened with Sentence by the Goat. I usually do a lot of it just like sitting at home and just drafting up ideas and going through my like just making stuff, and then send to Aaron. He makes the drums sound 10 times better. And then we kind of just end up in a place where those 6 songs just formed together, and it was just how it was meant to be. So
yeah, I think a lot of bands chase the algorithm these days, and they kind of forget that there are people out there who want to listen to the music, and that's really the primary objective,
For sure. Yeah.
Speaking of people out there wanting to hear your music, you've got the 1-year anniversary tour that you just mentioned. Give everybody like the locations, the dates, ticket sales, how much it costs, what time doors will be, who else is playing. That'd be handy too.
To start off, we're driving all the way from Nelson to Dunedin to kick off at the Crown Hotel, the start of the tour on the 12th of July, Friday the 12th of July. Doors will be around 8 p.m. and we've got, so far we have Festering Death and our good friends Meth Christ playing with us down there. From there, we move up to Christchurch. We'll be playing at the Galaxy Bar. That's going to be on the Saturday the 13th of July, and that's going to be kick off at 8 p.m. as well. And that's going to be our friends Impairment, Exanimus, and Lucid Shift. And then we have a week off in between.
After we've hit Christchurch, we'll be heading straight to Auckland, up to the Grey Lynn Library Hall. Haven't been to this venue. We actually got that one sorted out for us because the last one pulled out, and the guys in Parasitic Infestation hooked us up with this one and said, could be a cool idea. I think it's all ages too.
Yeah, it's an all ages show in Auckland that we kick off some 7 p.m. I must say that the last venue didn't pull out. Unfortunately, they had to shut, which is far worse the case scenario. Unfortunate for them, but we've been lucky enough to have our good friends in Parasitic Infestation be able to help us along the way, and they managed to sort us out a venue, sound guy, etc. They've been huge help in what we do.
The Grey Lynn Library Hall is it's quite famous for having a lot of sort of hardcore and underground kind of noisy bands play there a lot, like punk bands and stuff. So it's a pretty rowdy spot, so it should be perfect.
Sweet,
awesome. That sounds good. After we've hit Auckland, we're going to go to Wellington the next day, I believe, and we'll be playing Valhalla there. Always a cool spot to go. And I believe, what time of tour is on that one?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. as well. Keeping it 8 p.m. until the 1-7 in there. And tickets are all the same, aren't they?
Yeah, all the tickets are $15 online, and they'll be $20 on the door.
So yeah, it's 15 plus booking fee online, or a few extra bucks on the door. Sweet.
The opening bands for Auckland will be No Reason, Parasitic Infestation, and we also have Darktide. And then for Wellington, we also have our friends Parasitic Infestation joining us. And then we also have Melossa, who are great new, and Luca, who also become one of Josh's favorite bands.
Yeah,
Hard and Fast.
Fuck yeah, man.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right. So beyond the tour, what's the plans for the rest of the year?
Honestly, what we've done as a band is just taking everything and just going with the flow. My general idea is hoping to just sit down, like I said before, write some music, get something, a new piece of art to share with people, continue to grind and probably continue to play shows, even though we've played a million of them, but we just love to keep playing shows and entertaining the people. Yeah.
I'm hoping we can get on some more sort of like lineups that we'll take super seriously. But it's hard to say what that is until we see it. You can take something super seriously just with your friends as well. So it'd be fun to try get some more shows like the Coastal Carnage, something like that going, something we can bring more bands into, maybe different subgenres as well, just seeing what we can bring together and what sort of things we can have going.
Hopefully it becomes like a yearly thing, much like the Napier Death Fest. That was a similar thing. And it's always good to have these kind of little spots that you can venture out to and play your music somewhere else to a different audience.
Yeah, sure. And that's been the best part about the Coastal Carnage and all the shows we've had. It's just bringing our friends who haven't ever been to Nelson, even just a visit, bringing them here for shows has been great. They love it. And we love it too. I mean, there might even be an announcement closer towards the end of the year, but can't say too much too soon.
And there's even a couple bands in the area that it's just cool to be able to get to some shows. Like we've got a band here, Deranger, and they gave us a wicked show when we were first starting. We hadn't played anywhere yet, and we ended up playing Roots Bar in Takaka.
Yeah,
and that was awesome. We ended up getting put at the end as if we were headlining because we're just quite a bit more aggressive than the other bands on the lineup. But it just turned out super awesome for us, like fun-wise as well. It was heaps of fun, and it was sort of a great precursor, I guess, to we played Dogfest after that because of Vin from Plague of the Fallen. He got us on that one as well. So we were super nervous about that because it was reasonably big, considering we hadn't played any live shows. So be cool to get some bands back that have got us in the past.
Yeah.
So lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add? I think we've covered pretty much everything. So I guess it's the last question. Anything to add?
I mean, if you don't know who we are Sawnoff from Nelson, New Zealand. We are going to continue to make music, share music with people, play shows, and we hope to catch you at any of our upcoming tour dates, be that Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, Dunedin. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be in a city near you hopefully soon.
Got a bunch of merch we'll probably be bringing with us at those shows, but we do have stuff online as well via Bandcamp. I know our Instagram's probably the best place to go to see what we've got and what we're advertising. We're currently trying to recover from some speeding tickets from the last few shows we've played around the place. So we actually, what are we, like 240 deep now?
Oh yeah,
too much deep just in tickets. Yeah, so we're trying to recoup and trying to make more cool merch as well for people. Got some cassettes and stuff out there as well. For anyone who collects cassettes.
If you want to pick up a t-shirt, I mean, you can get that from our big cartel. If you want to stream us, you can find us YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere like that. As I said earlier, we have the re-release of Conflicted Fighting Violent Impulse coming out very soon, shortly before the tour. So if you haven't heard that, that'd be a better way to hear it. But if you can't wait, go check it out now. Our latest EP, Sentenced by the Goat, is out now, accompanied by a music video on YouTube.
All right. Well, thanks for chatting with me tonight. I'll try to come along to the Grey Lynn show and say hello.
Definitely. Sure.
We can hug and high five and do all those manly things.
Yeah.
Big time. Hey, thanks for having us on, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye, everybody.
Cheers for tuning in.
See you soon.
Especially if you stay to the end, you're a legend. And we'll hopefully see you soon.
And thanks for watching.